Today on Home Computing, you'll see how to put the fun back into using the internet. Here's what we'll be doing today. Find anything you want on the web in a flash. We'll get search tips from the inventor of Alta Vista. I'll show you a new web browser that's fun, simple, and will even run on a 386. And wouldn't it be nice if getting your email was as easy as saying, "Get mail"? Well, it can be, and I'll show you how, so stay tuned for Home Computing. Hi, and welcome to the show, period. No, exclamation point. Why all the enthusiasm and punctuation, question mark? Because of this, comma, voice email, comma, from Wizard Software, period. Voice email lets you use voice commands to tell your computer to fetch or send email. You can even dictate your email messages. It's all based on IBM's voice recognition technology, so not only do I have to have good diction, comma, but proper punctuation is very, very, left quote, underline, all caps, italicized, bold. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, voice email. And it comes with this cool Garth Brooks headset. And if you notice right off the bat here, it looks just like a normal email screen, except now I don't need my hands. I'll just put them down here. Okay, here we go. Now if I want to open my inbox, I say, Mailbox 1. Try that. Mailbox 1. You have to put a little pause in there so it can understand. It just hears me blabbing and doesn't know what I'm talking about. Let's close that up. Or let's look at another mailbox. Mailbox 2. Mailbox 1. And you can see it's brought up I can move very easily from box to box. So now let's go ahead and bring up our first message using this command, which I can't say unless I want it to work. Here we go. Open 1. Open 1. Okay, now it's opened a letter that I wanted to read here, and now if I want to close the letter, I just say close. There we go. Now let's do the fun thing, which is when you, of course, after you have looked through all your mail, you might want to send some mail or something. So what we want to do is we're going to do this. We're going to create mail. There we go. I need a little laugh in my voice for this to work. Okay, and you can see it's getting used to my voice, and it's getting used to my timing, and of course I'm talking to you, so it doesn't know what I'm doing. So we're going to, kind of using this. So okay, let's start here. We don't need. Okay, here we go. 2. See, now this part I actually do need to use my hand because you can't select from your address book, so I'll just talk to my hand. Click mouse. Okay, and I'm going to do manager at local store because I'm going to write a complaint letter. And now I can do in the subject. Subject. See when I get stern with it. Begin dictation. Regarding product. Period. Stop dictation. Body. Begin dictation. Dear Manager, comma, new line, I recently purchased your product and was dissatisfied. Stop dictation. The good thing about this, though, stop dictation, thank you. Okay, and what you can do is it understands your voice better and better, and then you can go back there and edit what didn't work. The more you do it, the better it gets. Begin dictation, here's what you need. Stop dictation, roll graphic. Man, it's hard to break the habit of talking like that, period. Man, if I had to do that all the time, I'd go blooming ampersand, dollar sign, pound sign, percenting crazy. Don't go ordering your computer around just yet, though. There's more home computing just ahead. When we come back, Can a handful of Norwegian programmers take on Microsoft and Netscape? I'll show you a new web browser that's small, fast, and fun to use, so stay tuned. Web browsers used to be pretty simple, but these days both Netscape Communicator and Microsoft Internet Explorer have become huge programs with tons of features that most people never use. Well, there's a new browser on the market that's getting a lot of attention, and it's not from Microsoft or Netscape. It's called Opera, and they're a Norwegian company. Yeah, sure, you betcha, didn't know that. And here it is, looks just like a normal browser, and has a lot of nice little functions built in. It's a small little program, and one of its functions, it builds you in a nice hot list of different sites you can go to, and you can even really easily import your bookmarks from Internet Explorer and Netscape Navigator. And so what we're going to do now, what I've done is I'm going to go ahead and move these hot lists over a little bit, and we can see this site over here. This is one of the things in their culture area, Africa Online, and you can see here's Africa Online. And let's say, for example, one of the neat little functions they built in here that I kind of like, you want to zoom into something. Let's say we want to get a picture of this pretty girl over here. We can go from 100% and expand it to maybe 200%. There's a big picture of her. Hey, how you doing there? And then let's just go back to our normal size. Yeah, good function. Yeah, I like the function. Expanding, good function. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go down, well, a lot of little functions built in, but another one I like is if you're trying to speed up your browsing, many times what you'll do is you want to load without images, and you have to go up into a menu and click, okay, don't load images, and then click save, and then come down and use your browser. This way you can do it kind of on a piecemeal basis by just clicking this camera here. For example, when you see I click this, boom, there are no images. Personally, I happen to like images, so let's get that out of there. Yeah. Images. So anyway, now there's another feature that I like. When you're going into different areas of this program, what you can do is, a lot of times you'll be using a browser and you'll click on a link and you'll wait and you'll wait, would it please build, would you please build, and you can't even read your last page. Well, this makes that real easy. We're going to bring this down here so this is a little smaller. I'm going to go to another link, and in the background I'm going to hold down, to do this you hold Control, Shift, and click. A nice little function. Let's say I'm going to go to the Ghana area of Africa Online, and when I do, it's building in the background, and you can see it building back there, and I could continue to read my front page and look through things while the back one builds, and then to go from page to page, all I do is hit Control Tab. Now if you want to go to another area, it'll show you, let's say for example I want to go to Europe, and I want to go to Norwegian. Now it will work the normal way, for example Norwegian composers, and you click on Norwegian composers, and when you click, the website will come up. and you can expand it. And then when you go to different links, for example, I will click on some of these composers here. How about this? Finn Arnestad. There, we'll go to Finn. I'll click on Finn Arnestad. At the bottom of the screen, something you don't see on other browsers is it'll actually tell you the length of time it takes for that page to build. The good news is it works great and is really small, so if you have a slow machine or a 386 or something, it should work fine for you. The bad news is, unlike other browsers, this one you have to pay for. Yumpin' himiny! Well, here's what you'll need along with money. After all the episodes of home computing I've done, my computer is completely full. So I can either quit the show or I can back up some of my files. All right, let's back up some stuff. The reason that was such a tough decision is because backing up can be such a hassle sometimes, but this can make it a lot easier. This is the Spark drive from SciQuest. It's a 1 gigabyte drive, and it's only 1.5 pounds, so I can barely lift it. No, actually, it's only 1.5 pounds, very light, easy to maneuver, and really easy to install too. You basically go to the back of the Spark drive, you take your parallel cable, a parallel cable, because what you're going to do is basically you're plugging this into the same port, and of course I can't see it, so I can't do it. Here we go. The parallel cable, and you do this with the same port that you would do with your printer, and then we plug in the power back there, which, I'll just turn it this way. Okay, and then you would plug your printer into this, and so you could pass through to, so your printer still prints, which is real nice. Then all you have to do is install the drivers, and the Spark drive is installed, and where you'll find it is you'll come over here and come into My Computer, and you go into My Computer, and you'll find it as one of your, basically an extra drive, and it's installed, and you're ready to go. Now the cost of this, you're probably wondering, the cost of the Spark drive is under $200, and now this may scare you a little bit, but just think about the size of the discs. Are $30 to $40. When I first heard it, I went, $30 to $40. But on the other hand, it holds a gigabyte. Now, how many gigabyte discs do you really need? Anyway, the price is good. It's really easy to use, and another nice function, it comes with a free piece of software that allows you to take the Spark drive to another computer, in case they don't have a Spark drive, but you want to use some of your 1 gigabyte of data. You paid $30 for a disk, and then you can use it on another computer temporarily. This drive is so big, it should beep when it backs up. Hey, hi-oh, hi-oh. I got 1 million of them. Actually, I have one of them. Here's the system requirements. Trying to find anything on the World Wide Web isn't exactly like looking for a needle in a haystack. It's more like looking for a needle in 10,000 haystacks. But searching the web can be easy thanks to this guy. And you'll meet him when home computing continues. When I'm looking for something on the web, I'll use a search engine called AltaVista. Often it gives a list of hundreds of the exact things I need, and I think, what genius invented this? Then I do another search, and I find very little, and I think, what genius invented this? Well, they're both right here. I'm with one of the inventors of AltaVista, Louis Monier. Hey, Louis, thanks for coming over.
You're welcome.
And you are one of the inventors?
Yes, AltaVista was my summer project about 3 years ago.
Wow, that's quite a summer project. I usually make moccasins. But anyway, so tell me, I've used AltaVista a ton. How does it work?
Quite simple. First, we have a program called a robot or a spider or a crawler, which is very much like your browser, just much faster. Gets 10 millions of pages every day out of the web, store them into a machine on which we run another program called an indexer that builds an index. And what you have when you use AltaVista is just a web interface to this indexer. You can ask questions. Every word on every web page is in there.
Oh, really? So it covers that much? How much does it actually cover?
We index, today it must be about 110 million pages.
Oh, really? 110 million pages. Okay. Well, this brings up a good point since we do that. We just typed in, what's the best way to make a search? I mean, I've tried many different ways, and it's probably when there's a problem, it's me causing it. So what's the best way to actually do a search?
Best way to make a search is type several words. Think beyond one or two. Think what else could be distinguishing the pages that I'm really looking for from the other ones. So you just did a search with 4. That's good.
Okay. Search with
think
4.
words and ignore the number of results.
Ignore the results.
It doesn't matter.
Because if you get 2 billion results.
The good ones should be on top.
The good ones are on top.
That's what the search engine is for.
Okay, so it'll go out and bring all the best on top and all the things that, like for now, I did I might have done looking for my show, home computing, but you had me do home computing and Tim and Testa, and with all those in there, I'm bound to get something. And the search results are actually pretty good. I think we go over here, and the first one, of course, was not me. This is some dress marketing manager or something, Tim Testa, who, by the way, is my evil twin somewhere. But this was me, number 2, the online exclusive computer TV shows ready for prime time, and it says something about me. And actually, the next 100,000 were all about me. Thank goodness. But okay, so we get all these searches. Now, doesn't this mean now that when people, now that I've searched by those words, that people could put in words about me on another website, but then other things could come up other than me?
Of course. This is a problem we encounter very often. There are a few people out there who cross the ethical boundary by putting keywords in their page that have really nothing to do with what they do, in the hope of getting a good position. But I should warn them that we have 3 people on staff. Full-time job is to remove those pages, detect them and remove them, and we're getting pretty good at it. So this is only to improve the quality of the results, so you don't end up with pages unrelated to your search.
Oh, okay. So this way, and so you actually are eliminating some pages if
Absolutely.
If you think they're spam or a duplicate or something like this. The AltaVista versus other kinds of search engines, what's the advantage of maybe using an AltaVista over some of there are many search engines. Is there any advantage to using, or?
Well, there are different categories of what people call search engine. You can go to what's called a catalog or directory where people have hand classified things, and the advantage is somebody has looked at them before, those documents on the web, but on the other hand, it's usually a very small fraction of the web. Something like AltaVista is totally automatic. You're dealing with a piece of software that is doing a very good job at finding what you're interested in among just about everything, every word on every page on the web.
So it'll go out, and it won't really, I mean, other than covering the spam you guys cover, it'll stop, but other than that, it catches everything.
Just about everything is there.
Really? Okay, so now I've noticed there's a new tab on here that I'm going to scroll up to, and you might notice here. This tab, well, obviously you'll notice, there's this translations. Tell me about that. Why is that so important?
Translation is important because this is really an experiment. We did that just a few months ago, and it has been incredibly popular, which is a sign that there is, first, it's quality. It's very fast, it's free, obviously, and it must be useful because we get, I believe, on the order of 400,000 translations every day coming from all over the world.
Wow. So people translating websites. That's great. Hey, Louis, thank you so much for coming over. And if you have any questions or you want to use AltaVista, here's Louis' home phone number. No, I'm only kidding. Here's the web address for AltaVista. I had 1 million questions for Louis. Okay, well, maybe 5, but people ask me questions all the time, too, like this one. Tim, I love your show. Please settle a disagreement between my wife and me. We live in the Eastern Caribbean that has many days of high humidity. After being on Franklin, our computer, for hours and hours, I feel he needs to be covered up to protect against the damp air, while my wife feels he needs to cool off as she's concerned about condensation. Who's correct? Good health, Alan and Denise. Well, you two, I find it interesting that you have a name for your computer, too. I call mine inanimate object. But to answer your question, you're both right. You really, though, shouldn't cover your computer because you really don't want it to be hot and damp, and that's why my computer uses Cool and Dry. Just apply it once a day before you boot up, and your computer will be dry all day long. It works great, and it protects against somebody putting a bag over the computer, and hey, no sticky residue. Now in Desert Spice. I hope that helps, and if you or your inanimate object has a question for me, you can get a hold of me at my email address, ttesta@knowledgetv.com. That's ttesta@knowledgetv.com. And when we come back, a missing scientist, a government conspiracy, and a beautiful client. Interested?
I'll take that as a yes. I'd like to hire you.
You'll see the latest adventure of the best PI on CD when HC continues. If you've been watching Home Computing for a while, you know we've been following the antics of computer future PI Tex Murphy in such cases as Under a Killing Moon and the Pandora Directive. Well, now we're continuing on following the gruff, smart-alecky, unshaven PI with this, Tex Murphy Overseer. And this puts us in the future again, but in Tex's past to find out how he really got the way he was. And right now we're starting in Tex's office, and you can see this is a good place to start. Just like normal inventory game, you pick up inventory items, but it's got a nice little interface here for moving around. All you do is you move this little red icon here on the bottom, and you move very nicely. And of course you can pick items up. For example, I could click on this tape over here, and Tex will tell me about it, and then I can pick it up and put it in my inventory, and it'll go away. Let's go ahead and, of course, Tex will continue to talk to me throughout the whole thing. Let's click on the door here and open it up. And we'll move through a little bit. We got some things to do here. For example, Tex at this time has no cases, so we're just trying to figure out what to do in his office. And maybe what we'll do is move back a tad and play some Parcheesi. And when we click on the Parcheesi, we have a choice. You know, he'll tell us about Parcheesi, or we can pick it up. And this, of course, once we get into a good game of Parcheesi, of course we're going to get interrupted. And this is where we meet of course, the beautiful damsel in distress. Never would have thought of that. But actually, you can see a young Tex Murphy, and here she is coming to the door. Here's the troublemaker right here. Wow, look at that. Whoa, what a door. So anyway, there's nice young Tex, and this woman's got a problem. Her first one is she's visiting Tex.
Are you the private investigator?
Oh, that's what someone painted on the door.
He's happy about something.
I'll take that as a yes. I'd like to hire you, if you're available.
I'd like to hire you if you're available. So then they get talking here.
It just so happens that I am.
Mostly about her fake wig.
What can I do for you, Miss
Linsky. But I'd prefer if you called me Sylvia.
So Sylvia Linsky.
Okay, Sylvia.
And Sylvia's got a problem in the fact that her father committed suicide, but she thinks it's murder. So now we're going to go talk and get some help from a detective Sylvia gives us a lot of information that we can use. We're going to load another game here and find out a little bit about, from the detective, what really went on, because we got a chance to be hired here. Let's see, let's go ahead and do this right here. And okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to talk to the detective, and she's going to fill us in on a bunch of information here. We get neat video clips throughout the whole game. We also you'll see many stars actually. Michael York is in here, and here we are talking to the detective here in a sec.
I'm busy, Murphy.
Yeah, you look busy, holding your nose.
Make it quick.
Your desk is totally empty. How about getting some props? Okay, so here's where you can now, another part of the game is you can get into conversations with people and ask questions using this down here. We're going to ask about something now. Instead of getting into a big conversation, I have some investigating to do. For example, we want to go through talk about Linsky's autopsy. We're just begging for help from this woman. And when we go in here... Okay,
Coroner said the cause of death was drowning. No other injuries. Though there was a scar back here.
Oh, yeah.
Linsky probably had surgery done recently.
Yeah, that's common surgery. Blunt object to the back of the head surgery. It's a conspiracy. Well, who knows? Okay, so we can ask her another question. Let's talk to her about Linsky's personal effects. And when we do this, certain things that we do...
Standard stuff.
Oh, standard stuff?
Wallet,
Wallet.
keys, and a suicide note neatly sealed in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, that's standard wallet, key, suicide note. In fact, here's my suicide note in my Ziploc bag. Okay, now what we can do is, by doing that, we can go to the travel section of the program, and when we do, first we have to get done over here. We go to the travel section of the program. We can move around. Just since we've talked to her, we've got actually a score of 10 points, and now we can move to a different part and talk to Sylvia again. This game will keep you guessing for hours. Here's what you'll need. Well, it was fun being a computer PI, but what I want to know is how come none of the damsels in distress are ever ugly? I guess the people are afraid their game would be a lot shorter. Detective, I need your help. Well, no. Oops. See you next time. If you've been watching home computing for a while, you know that I'm always searching for things, mostly my car keys, but I'm also searching a lot on the World Wide Web. And back with me is a guest we've had before, who's one of the inventors of Alta Vista, Louis Monier. Louis, thanks for coming over again.
You're welcome.
Okay, what today I thought I'd ask you about is some little more advanced things. Last time you were here, we talked about some more basic things, how Alta Vista works, but this time I'd like to talk more, for example, the people, I get calls all the time from people wanting to set up a website and how can I get found on the search engines, and okay, so what's your recommendation to them?
Well, my recommendation would be to go to Alta Vista, go to the bottom of just about every screen,
Okay.
and what you'll find is a link called Add Remove URL.
Oh, okay.
Most definitely interested in adding URL. All you do is type in, as soon as your site is up, type in the URL for the main site, click the right button, the page will be fetched instantly, will be indexed overnight, you can show it to your friends and families the next day.
The next day, okay, so it's just that quick. It's in right into the
Absolutely.
system. Okay, well then what would be a good way to, I mean, everybody talks about ways to distinguish their web page, or the ways, when a search happens and you're a business or a website, you want your search to come up near the top. So what would be a way to distinguish your website?
Well, the good question is near the top for which query?
Tim, you can ask the question again.
Okay. What, has he just said anything, or? I guess I get a lot of calls about websites. How do you, okay. Tell me when.
Anytime.
Okay. A lot of people talk to me about how they can distinguish their websites from other people's. They want their names to come up at the top of the search. So what can they do to make sure that their name comes up high, or as high as possible?
Well, the real question is, come as high as possible for which query? Because you can't, it's not realistic to hope to be first or on the first page for something as vague as car or restaurant or real estate. I mean, those queries are just too vague, and users are learning that. They really understand that on those queries you get millions of results and there is no way of distinguishing them. So what you want to do is think, what will distinguish your page from somebody else? Let's say you're a restaurant. Say where you are. Give a city name, give a zip code, give a state. What's your specialty? Put things off your menu that would distinguish you from the other restaurant in the same city. So when people are looking for something specific, you'll definitely be first.
Because as they learned on the last home computing that you were on, you do type in as many words as possible. If you want a good search, type in as many words as possible, and hopefully if they type all those in, then they'll find...
Absolutely, that's what search engines are for.
Okay, so then, well, what if I'm like one of those people that is really late at night and I'm real tired, or there's a situation where I can't figure out what 4 words I should put in, and all I can come up with is 1 word. How can I improve upon that, or is there any way to do that?
Yes, there are several techniques, but we have Alta Vista best kept secret, which is called the refine feature, and it's a button that you find right next to search, and I'm sure you've never clicked on it.
Yes, you are 100% correct, Alex.
So let's say you start and It's late at night, you feel the flu, coming down with the flu, and you like to get some information about the flu, so
Okay,
you're going to
so I
type
type in
flu or influenza.
Influenza.
And you're not too sure what else to ask because you're not a doctor.
And plus I got the flu.
So you're going to click on Refine,
Okay.
and what it will do is it will analyze all the documents on the web that contain that word and find other words that appear in those documents. So sort of friends of the word influenza.
Oh boy.
And that's what
And
you
here
get
it is.
here.
Okay, so
And you get a lot of different words about influenza, disease, virus. You learn it's a virus, not a something else, not
Oh,
a bug.
okay.
Vaccine, other diseases. And so now you can use those menus on the left to say, yes, I'm really interested, let's say, in vaccine.
I could say vaccine's something I'd like to find more information about, as well as maybe hepatitis. Or maybe I want to exclude. I could exclude hepatitis then. So just say, whatever you do, don't find hepatitis. I'm not getting that. And then click search.
Click search.
Okay, so this is a way of doing an advanced search without
Absolutely. You've just built a very complicated, search with, yes to this and no to that in 2 clicks.
Wow, okay. And there's one last question I have, which is, a lot of people talk about, I wish I could just type a sentence. What is the capital of whatever? Or where should, can you do that?
Absolutely.
Oh, really?
Just go for it.
Does it confuse it? Do I get millions of things with the word where and is? And
No, you don't.